Old Age Security is a social assistance program here in Canada, and in this video I want to break down how it works and some of the nuances of it to help you collect it at the right time, make sure you get the most possible, and all the other rules that surround the account. So who qualifies for Old Age Security, or OAS as we'll call it in this video? Well, OAS is for anyone aged 65 or older, and you qualify if you're currently living in Canada and you've been in Canada for at least 10 years past your 18th birthday. So as long as from age 18 to now you've been in Canada for at least 10 years, you will qualify for Old Age Security. For those of you not living in Canada but have spent time in Canada, maybe you're retiring abroad, you need to have at least 20 years to be able to collect Old Age Security. If you're someone that spent some time outside of Canada working abroad, that time working abroad may count as some of those years here in Canada. Again, reach out to My Service Canada to figure out if that qualifies for you. Maybe you're at 18 years, you're planning to retire abroad, but you also worked abroad for a little bit. Maybe you have some credit years to get you to that 20-year mark to make sure that you can collect your Old Age Security even if you do retire outside of Canada. So to qualify, you need to be at least age 65, and you can start collecting your Old Age Security from 65 up to 70. Now, if you decide to take it at 65, it's based on how many years you spent in Canada, with the max being age 40. So from age 18 onward, if you've spent 40 years here in Canada, at age 65, you'll get the maximum amount. If you've spent 30 years in Canada, you'll get 75% of the benefit. 20 years, 50%. So it's an easy calculation to figure out how much. Now the maximum amount changes every year with inflation. We'll put the details below, but you can take your Old Age Security anywhere between age 65 and age 70. If you defer to age 70 or anywhere in between, your Old Age Security benefit payment will actually increase by 0.6% for every month that you delay past your 65th birthday. So much like CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, there is a benefit to delay. Now, the Canadian Pension Plan has a better benefit at 0.7% per month, but even at 0.6, it might make sense for you to delay Old Age Security. There's another reason that most of you, or a lot of you, will want to delay Old Age Security, which we'll cover later in this video. One of the things you want to consider when it comes to Old Age Security is the Old Age Security Recovery Tax, or the OAS Clawback as most people call it. And that's basically once your income hits a certain threshold, they're going to claw back 15% of every dollar that you make until you hit zero. And so if your income in 2024 is over $90,997, you will be clawed back on your Old Age Security. So again, every dollar that you make above that number, 15% will be clawed back from your Old Age Security. So if you're making a lot of money, it doesn't make sense to start taking your Old Age Security because it could be fully clawed back. Now, how do they look at income? So they're going to look at your net income, not your taxable income, but net income. So if you're looking at your notice of assessment or your tax return from last year, or looking at this year now, you want to look at line 23400, and that is your net income after adjustments. Now, again, not taxable income, net income. That's a very important line, and that's where a lot of the government benefits are triggered from, is that line 23400. Now, when we look at net income, a few things that you need to have consideration around is the way that your income is driven. So let's say dividends as an example. Some dividends have a gross up. So if you have $10,000 of dividends, they could be grossed up 38% to $13,800. Again, that $13,800 is what's considered on your net income, not the $10,000. There's things within your overall income structure that can drive up. So you may say, you know what, Adam, my pension or my RSP withdrawal is below the threshold, but you might have other income sources coming in that bump you above and create that clawback. So really understand what type of income you have come in, how it's structured, and make sure, again, to go back to that line 23400, it's a very important line to understand how you get to that number and how to make sure you can maybe manipulate or change things that you're doing on your side to keep it below that threshold. For some of you, it's going to be impossible to get below that threshold, and that's a good problem to have. I always say, if you've done everything you can and you still have a bit of an OAS clawback, you're probably in a good position for retirement. But again, I think we all want to get as much money as we can, especially from the government, who we pay so much money to. So again, do everything that you can. Work with your financial planner to figure out Am I able to get below that threshold in a good way where it makes sense for me long term? Again, we've done some plans where we can get clients below that threshold, but the overall net result isn't better for them. So they're actually better off kind of structuring stuff in a different way, having a small amount of old age security clawback, but net in their pocket is better and the amount of taxes they're paying is lower. So again, you got to work with your financial planner to figure out where that sweet spot is. Now, one thing that's really confusing with old age security around the clawback is what year of income is used. And so typically it's last year's income or even the year before that. So the amount changes on July 1st every year. So right now, as I record this, we're in April of 2024, meaning that if I started my old age security right now, they're actually going to use my income from 2022. So almost 2 years ago. And that's because they haven't adjusted for my filing for 2023, which will happen on July 1st of 2024. So you have to know that if I apply today and I had a large income in 2022, they're going to look at that and potentially claw back some of my old age security based on my income from a couple of years ago. Come July 1st of 2024, they will look at my 2023 income. Again, if it dropped, then maybe it's worth applying then. If it's still quite high, then maybe I want to delay it a little bit longer. So this is a caution for everyone that has just retired or looking to retire. A lot of you will retire and start your old age security right away, but you're going to have some clawback, maybe you have full clawback because they're looking at previous year's income. And so it doesn't, as soon as you retire, it probably doesn't make sense to start your old age security right away if you had a decent income, because you might lose some of that to the clawback. Now, as an example, if you retired in late 2023 and you had a really good income, but now 2024, you're retired, your income's much lower, there is a form that you can sign off, send back to CRA. You can do it online on your My Service Canada site. So it's form T1213. It's a tax form that you can fill out saying, look, yes, I did make more money previously, but things have changed. I'm retired. My income's much lower. Please have less withholding tax or clawback on my old age security. So we'll link that below. But definitely if you're someone that earned a lot more, dropped off, and you're looking to start old age security, that is a form you can sign off. I will say this, we've had some clients go through that process. It takes some time. It's not guaranteed, even though they say it kind of is. We've seen some decline. And so I always recommend you're just better off deferring your old age security versus trying to sign this government form, get it through processing, get it approved. By the time that all happens, it's probably a year or two anyway. So again, we've heard some good stories, we've heard some bad stories. So it depends how far down that rabbit hole you want to go. But buyer beware. You may just be better off delaying your old age security until you know you're not going to have any clawback, get that bonus of 0.6% per month, and start it at a later date. One of the side bonuses with old age security is that at age 75, you get a 10% bump. Now that bump is based off of whatever you're collecting. So if you're somebody that deferred or delayed your old age security all the way to age 70, that 10% bump is going to be much more valuable. So again, you have to consider this as well around timing around your old age security. So for everyone that's collecting old age security, when you hit your 75th birthday the following month, you will get that 10% bump in your monthly payment. So two more things I want to cover, enrollment and can you cancel it once you start it? And that's a really big thing, and I want to share a story with you. But first off, enrollment. You can enroll either online through your My Service Canada website. Make sure you have access to that. As you get close to retirement, even before, you want to make sure you have access to My Service Canada. You can sign up online, they'll mail you a code, you use that access code to get online access. That's where you're going to get a lot of your government benefits and apply for things like CPP and old age security. So you can apply online. It's a much quicker turnaround, or you can do the old school snail mail. Again, that takes a lot longer. I don't trust it so much. Do things online. Do as much as you can online. And when you apply, you can ask them to either withhold zero tax or withhold some tax. Again, this is where ideally you look at your financial plan that you have, look at your average tax rate, and get a bit of tax withheld on there. You can look at your other sources of income. How does it all come together? But you can request a certain percentage or dollar amount of tax to be withheld from your old age security. Now, the final thing, and I think it's a really important thing, is can you cancel your old age security once you've started it? And the answer is yes. You have up to 6 months. So if you started old age security a couple of months ago and you're watching this video and you're like, wow, I really screwed this up, you can cancel. You got to go through your My Service account, request to cancel. You do need to pay back any payments you've collected. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, here's a story, and I've heard this a few times over and over again, and it's quite alarming, and I want you to be aware of it. So here's an example of something that can go really south with regards to old age security. Now, I will say it's for high income earners, so caveat there, but if you're a high income earner and you turn 65, sometimes OAS just starts automatically. Again, they say online that at age 65, it'll start automatically unless you say otherwise. We've heard both sides of it. Some people get it started automatically at 65, some don't. But assume it's going to start at 65 unless you tell them otherwise. So let's say your birthday is in January of 2024, you turn 65, you're still working, you're still making good income. You didn't intend to start old age security, but you also didn't tell them not to start it. So what happens is they're going to look at your income and say, wow, Joe makes a lot of income. He turned 65. He's starting old age security, but his income's so high, it's 100% clawback. So he's not going to see any money come into his bank account. So there's no money coming in from old age security. Joe goes through the whole year, and the following year, January, February, he gets a tax slip for his T4 OAS. Saying, look, Joe, you've made whatever, $7,000 in OAS, but we clawed the whole thing back. And he goes, whoa, I didn't want to start it anyway. Like, how did this happen? But the reality is it's been more than 6 months. He can't stop it anymore, and he's being fully clawed back. Again, he should have put a stop on it, delayed it, got that 0.6% every month. He would have been clawed back anyway, and wait till a future date where his income's lower. So again, we've heard this happen to more than one person. I'm sure there's someone watching this video that's happened to. Leave that comment below. But I want to make sure it doesn't happen to you. So understand, at age 65, it may auto enroll. If you're a high income earner, you want to pay close attention to this. I always say, take control into your hands. If you want to start it, let them know you want to start it. If you don't, make sure you let them know that you don't want to start it. Old age security doesn't automatically start, but it could automatically start. And I know that's a weird answer to give you, but we've seen both sides of it. And I can't pin it to anything. I thought, well, maybe if someone's been in Canada for 40 years, it will automatically start. But we've had some clients that checked that box, but it didn't automatically start. So assume it will automatically start unless you tell them otherwise, but don't expect to check the month after you turn 65 either. So I hope this video helped you with old age security, understand how it works, when you can collect it, if you can delay it, old age security clawback, how to apply for it, how to stop it if it started too early, and all of that. Again, if you have any questions, post them below. We'll do our best to answer them. We'll see you in the next video.